We're going to go ahead and go over the syllabus and some Moodle stuff for this course. Share the screen. So this is Chemistry 121 online class for summer 2022. The lectures and everything, everything's going to be done online, and the laboratories that you're going to do are going to be at home. Those laboratories will, you're going to need to pick up a kit from the bookstore in the Dalles. If you need, you can have those mailed to you for an additional cost. If we want any tutoring or anything like that, we need some assistance outside of online forums and whatnot, we can set up a Zoom meeting, and that link is on Moodle. I'll show that to you. Here's my phone number and the college email account. You can use this or Moodle Messenger to get a hold of me. Those are the easiest things to do. Our textbook is going to be this Chemistry 2nd edition from OpenStax, and so it's a free PDF. We do have the hard copy of the books in the bookstore, or you could find some of them online. You're going to need a scientific calculator. A scientific calculator is one that can do scientific notation. So it's got an EE key or an E key. These are capital letters, capital letter E doubled, or a 10 to the X key. And then you're going to need a periodic table from the bookstore, and it's the one that's $1. It's a paper table. So this is the first course in a series of 3 chemistry courses. And this class is usually taken for people who are looking for entrance into biology, or for people who need a lab science who are not going to be science majors. The course outcomes are, we're going to assess the impact of general chemistry theory on the phenomenon of everyday life, including the environment and human health. So I'd like you to think about what chemistry has done for you and your life. When I think about chemistry and how it's helped us, I can immediately just go to the pandemic. Chemists were the ones that figured out how to create a ribosomal RNA vaccine. And for us to be able to do that in months instead of years or decades, that was a pretty major accomplishment. Other things besides medicine would be the fact that what we're doing right now, being able to take this class online. You're probably using a LED or a plasma or an OLED monitor. That's a pretty big deal for chem. You're using a computer, obviously, or a phone, which is a computer, and those are all chemical things. The chemistry stuff isn't always good because sometimes the regulation isn't where it should be. And so we can have some pretty major environmental impacts. The fact that we understood how to use fossil fuels to power our economy has also messed up the planet. And so now we're having to deal with climate change because of that. The next thing is applying critical thinking skills to understanding scientific inquiry. So we're going to make evidence-based decisions with the materials that we're going to have in this class, meaning that you're going to have to be able to back up decisions that you've made or answers that you've given. And that comes from using materials that are peer-reviewed, which means materials that other people have looked at that are in the field and can say this seems reasonable, and then that gets posted and published, and you read that. This isn't you don't just Google something and find an answer for it, unless what you're bringing back from Google is some sort of peer-reviewed journal. The next thing we're going to be doing is using math in a way that when you were taking math in high school and middle school and you're wondering to yourself, when am I ever going to use this math? And the answer to that would be now. You'll be using math in this class a lot. The fourth intended outcome is to communicate complex scientific concepts. So if you can't tell people what you did, then what you did doesn't really matter. And so an easy example for that is calculus has been invented at least 5 times independently Why the heck would we have to invent calculus 5 different times? Because the people who invented it weren't able to disseminate all of their information to the rest of the world for one reason or another. Either they just didn't do it, or because the ability to publish and then spread to a large audience wasn't available to them. So we had to redo things. So if you can't tell me what it was that you did, say in a lab report, then I can't follow that, then you didn't do anything at all. Collaborating with others, this probably isn't going to happen a lot in this class because we're online, but we will be doing stuff within the forums together. And I have had students who are in this position that you guys are in, either join forces to do laboratories at home or to start up Zoom rooms and then both do the labs in their houses individually so they can talk amongst themselves and figure things out. And the last thing here is evaluating critical sources of scientific information to determine the validity of the data. We'll be doing that a lot. This is very similar to the second one up here, but for you to be able to talk about something, you're going to need to back it up with a source that means something. And that would, again, be a peer-reviewed journal. What I'm expecting is for you to log into Moodle several times a week. You're going to need to because there's stuff due pretty much every day of the week. That way we don't get bogged down. I don't want you to roll up on week 5 and realize you have 20 things to turn in. So we'll keep on top of this through the entire class period. And we'll run this basically like it's a face-to-face class as far as stuff that's being due. So late homework, it's going to be a severe reduction each day that you don't have it turned in because I'm going to be posting answers to those things pretty quickly. To keep on top of that. So I can't post an answer to something and then have you submit it and then expect you to get full credit for it. So after 2 days, if you haven't turned that thing in, then you will receive half or less than half credit, depending on the circumstances. If you have a legitimate reason for not being able to turn something in, I am very willing to extend that late period to encompass whatever time period you need. So if you go to the hospital or whatever, sick, have an accident, or there's a problem with family, just tell me and we won't be worrying about anything being late. There's no extra credit in this class, just worry about all the credit stuff. You're going to earn a grade based off of the different assessments that we're going to be doing. And the assessments are, we'll talk about those in a second, but they're the regular things like homework and quizzes and whatnot. And the grades are 90 for an A, and in the 80s is a B, and the 70s is a C. D's are in the 60s, and anything below 60 is an F. I've counted up the points, and it looks like there's 584 total points for this course, and every single point is weighted equally. So if you miss 1 point on a homework, it's exactly the same thing as missing 1 point on a quiz or on a lab report. There'll be 22 assignments. The assignments are with 10 points each, and we'll be doing 2 of those a week. They'll be due on, when we get down to the calendar, I'll be sure about that, but I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday and Friday that the homework should do. And I need you to submit those on Moodle as a PDF. If you don't submit them as a PDF, then I'm not going to grade them. And I will inform you that this needs to be in PDF format. If you have a problem generating a PDF, let me know and I'll walk you through it. No matter what operating system you have, it'll be harder if you have a Mac for me because I don't use a Mac, but I can work my way through it and we'll get that figured out. The paper is going to be worth 20 points. It's going to be due week 10. You're going to have to post what you're picking by week 5, Wednesday of week 5. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose a plant. Each person in this class is going to choose a different plant that has some sort of medical use. So like coffee has a medical use as caffeine. You might not think that caffeine is a medical thing, but it is. It elevates heart rate. So if you've got a problem with a low heart rate, an easy thing to do would be to suggest to somebody that they drink something that's got caffeine in it. They're probably not going to say drink a latte. Probably be more like green tea or black tea, something of that nature. This paper needs to be 800 plus or minus 50 words and needs to be in 12-point Courier New font. So this Courier New font is very important to chemistry. The reason it is important is because it's a serif font, which means every single letter, number, character has some flourishes to it. Like you can see this 1 right here doesn't look like a 1 that would be in, say, Arial, the font Arial. In Arial, it's just a line, which could be a 1, a capital I, or a lowercase l. And we can't have that in chemistry. We need to make sure that we understand what it is we're looking at. That I know that I'm looking at a 1 right here. So you're going to need to use this Courier font whenever you type something in this class. You're going to need to find 3 sources of information for that paper that are peer reviewed, and you're going to need to present those sources in APA format. And again, submit as a PDF. The participation is going to be you finding questions at the end of the chapters and posting those questions. So you post 2 questions and then you'll answer 1 question. So the subject for your posting will be question number 12 and 26. And then somebody will come by and answer 1 of those questions. And so you'll need to post 2 and answer 1. And then on Fridays of each week, you'll have a timed quiz that's going to be 10 points each. And the quiz will be pulling questions that are multiple choice, true and false, some matching out of a larger test bank. And then from that test bank, you'll get just randomly 10 picked out of there. The quizzes, for the most part, will be timed, with the exception of the first one. First one is a little bit different, but you'll find that when I share you to you in Moodle, or when you find it in Moodle. The labs are 20 points each. There'll be 10 of them. You're going to be pouring, I don't know why it says 11. Is it 11? I think it's, well, I'm going to have to check the calendar here. I'm going to end up having to change this, so no big deal. They're going to be due every Monday, and you're going to need to be taking photographs of the process and submitting that with your report. And again, this needs to be submitted as PDF. The lab rules for you is make sure you pick a place that's well ventilated. There aren't distractions, that there aren't obstacles. You're not going to trip over anything. You're going to need to wear eye protection. If you have glasses, those work. If you have contact lenses, that's not going to work for you. You're going to need to take those out, put eyeglasses in, because contact lenses can trap gases in between your eye and the contact and cause damage to the surface of your eye, to the cornea. There's no practical jokes going on in these labs, so just try to keep everybody away from you and perform the lab. And most importantly, while you're doing this, make sure that the thing that you have in your hand, or whatever it is that you're going to use, that's actually what you want. Make sure you have what you want in your hand, because sometimes these things look the same. There'll be several white powders inside your lab kit. Make sure the white powder that you're holding is the white powder that you want for this lab that you're currently performing. All right, so here's our schedule. It shows you're gonna post 2 questions onto the forum for chapter 1, and then you're gonna have homework due on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, you're going to be answering somebody's question on the forum. And on Friday, you're going to have homework 2 due, and you're going to need to take quiz number 1. And then on Monday, the July, I guess that's the 4th of July. So make sure you get that done early, since that's the 4th, or just do it that day around fireworks and whatnot. Lab 1 will be due. And then the same situation. So you can see every Tuesday, you have to post 2 questions. By Tuesday, you can do it early. That's totally fine. And the homeworks, you can have 1 due on Wednesday, you can have 1 due on Friday, and you'll have the quiz due every Friday as well. So basically, the labs, I have this set up so you can do this work during the week, and then on the weekend you can do the labs and then post them on Monday or prior to Monday. So it looks pretty much the same all the way through, and it is only 10 labs. So I'll go back up here and change this to 10. I'll change that in your on Moodle. So here's the policies set forth for all classes at the college. There's a statement about on academic honesty and what would happen if you got caught cheating. There's an ADA statement about students with disabilities. Get a hold of me, and we'll work our way through that. Won't be any discrimination in this class. If I see anything like that in the forums or hear about it in some other way, there'll be action taken against the person discriminating. The flexibility statement is if anything weird happens, like there's weather or online class, so it's probably not really going to happen. Plus, it's over the summer. This is more like a if it snows during winter term kind of statement. Alternate assignments. This can happen if there's a request for accommodation, and that's again having to do with the ADA. The college is diverse, equity, and inclusive, and this is the statement associated with that. And student support. We have an email and a phone number for Shane Adal in student services. And as far as technical support, you're kind of lucky because I'm the person who runs Moodle for the college. So if you have a problem with Moodle, you can just ask me. All right, so there's the syllabus, and then we're going to move on to Moodle. So this is what your Moodle page is going to look like. I definitely want you to click on everything. You can't do anything to Moodle. Get all these boxes on the right side checked, and then you should be good to go. And then this calendar over here is going to be telling you what's due when. So this is showing you right now that homework 1 should be completed, and homework 1 is due. And when you hover over these things, it'll show you a little code and then something after that. So you can see this says U22 CH121 RK. So that's from right here. And that stands for Summer 2022 Chemistry 121 Rob Kovacic. So other classes will have the same thing. If you're taking class during fall, it'll say F22. So that's how we work this. And I'm obviously doing this before the term starts because this is in future terms. If any announcements need to happen, I'll post those here. Here's an instructional, here's a video that I made earlier that just introduces me to you. You've probably already seen that then. The syllabus is here. The link for tutoring is here. There's some stuff you're going to want to have memorized to make this whole thing easier for you. One is a polyatomic ion table. Another one is the metric system table, and another one is solubility rules. Those will make this whole class easier. When I was in your position, I just printed these things off and I carried them around with me in my wallet. For you, you could download these images and then put them in your phone in a way that you could, I don't know, make them the background image or something like that. All right. Extra worksheets, if you're having trouble with, say, doing density or something or other, you can go in there and work on those. I might refer to some of these things that are inside this folder for science. Student services support, so that Shane Adal thing here. You can ask the librarian for assistance with researching, and she can get a hold of you here at this forum. These are the notes that I go through for this class. So this class is going to deal with chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 9. And what I've done is I've basically taken those chapters and broken them down into the specific things that I want to talk about. So I'm not going to just open up the textbook and start reading it to you. I've disassembled the textbook and added my own information to it in my own way to talk about it within these lab notes. And so when you're going over lectures, watching the lecture videos, those lecture videos are going to be just me going over my lecture notes. There's a link here, and this will be the playlist to all the lecture videos and any videos that I've got in the class. Yeah, everything will be right there for this class. There's a link to the textbook and the solutions guide for that textbook. And again, both of those things are free. So again, you can pay for them if you'd like to have the hard copy at the bookstore, or you can just purchase them online. Again, here's the paper. The information you need for the paper, you're going to submit it here. And then once you've picked a particular plant, I need you to post it here so nobody else picks that plant. So if somebody wants to pick, I don't know, let's say marijuana, then you'd post it here and then nobody else gets to pick marijuana or opium or something of that nature. All your homeworks are here, and they're going to be due at different, again, they're due on Wednesdays and Fridays of each week, so 2 per week. And that gets us up to 22 homework assignments since we've got 11 weeks for our class. There are the discussion boards, and this is where you're going to be posting the 2 homework questions out of the back of the chapter of the textbook, and then answering somebody else's. All your labs are here. I'm going to need you to watch the lab safety video. I'll know if you don't, at least click on this link and start watching the video. And if you don't, then I'm not going to be giving you credit for any of the labs performed here. And here are the quizzes. So you'll be doing one of these each week by Friday. You can do them early, but they are definitely due by Friday of the week, so of their number. So quiz 3 is due Friday, week 3. And all of these due dates are at 23:59, so 11:59 on the day that they're due. So like this one here says that homework one, homework one should be completed and is due. It's due at 11:59 p.m. on that Wednesday, June 29th. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.